Okay, beautiful. All right, hello, and welcome. So today we have our student to teacher discussion. Today's topic is all about how meditation brings balance to your family and work life. So this was a topic that was suggested by quite a few of you inside of our community. So we decided to do the next chat on this topic. Really in the restless society, it's very busy. We can feel very anxious at times, right? I know that I have definitely experienced that many times in my life. And it wasn't until I started walking the true path of meditation, not the path that society says what meditation is, but really the true path of meditation. It really helped me to understand how to start bringing this balance into my family and work life. So I'm really excited about this conversation that we're going to have. Today, we're going to be chatting with Om Roshan and three of his students. So myself and Tanya and Becky. And every Wednesday evening, members of our Om community, so we gather together, we call it the satsang. I may or may not be saying that properly, but basically we have deep discussions on just topics that will really shed light on our life circumstances so that we can really just lead a life of ease and flow. So if you are interested in joining us for these sessions, definitely reach out to myself directly at any time, and I'm happy to give you some info. So with that said, we're going to bring on Om Roshan, we're going to bring on Tanya and Becky, if you can all show your beautiful faces. Mm-hmm. I love it. Such a smooth transition. So welcome.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. We can have the mic on unless if any distractions in your background, like Becky and Tanya. Yes, so you can interrupt me with your questions. So two things we need to speak about today, even before getting into the balancing work or life with the meditation path. First, we need to know what is meditation, right? Because that term meditation, it's a global term or global name like God, and everybody have their own interpretation. So it is very important to know what meditation is. And I think we have done a video or talk about meditation. So I'm not going to go so detailed in depth about that, but we'll touch base on what is meditation, what is not meditation, and how it navigates your life out of the confinement. So when we talk about meditation, I say that, you have five senses, and all your five senses, the bodily senses, which perceive and experiences the outer world. And then it gives you that experience. And through that experience, you come to a conclusion or you come to an idea about that experience, right? So if these five senses, if you take into play, when you're born, I say it is so pure. When I say pure, not in the moral or ethics side aspect, I'm talking about pure in the sense it has not been contaminated, or it hasn't been manipulated or trained in any particular way. So fresh, right? And that's why when you look at children, their senses are very fresh, like with so much curiosity, so much playfulness, that innocence is in play. And if you take the adults, what happens to the senses? Now, I'm not just talking about the food. I'm not just talking about, the way we perceive the interactions with the outer world. Not just that. Beyond that, when we conclude our experiences as we grow through our senses, what happens is that we base our life in a very judgmental and biased way. Like we are concluding our life. But as a child, there's no conclusion. Even though the child would be doing the same thing, same play, like, if you look, if you observe a child, they're not afraid of the unknown territory. They're not afraid of what's going to happen next, because of that innocence and because of the meditative senses they have. So when you're born, your senses were meditative. When I say meditative, it is fresh and pure and able to grasp anything and everything as it is. But now as an adult, when you grab something, when I say grab, when you perceive something, how do you perceive? Example, I'll take Kim. Anytime she looks at a spider,
I'm so
disgusting.
much better now.
So
Now
much better now.
you gotta
Okay.
work on Tanya.
Tanya, same thing.
Better too.
Yeah, the same spider issues.
I was outside today and there was a spider on the table and I let him be. He was on the other side of the table, but I let him be there.
Okay, that's a great improvement. But you know the point I'm trying to make, that conclusion in your mind to frame that spider is disgusting, or it is something like a freaky animal, like freaky creature, something like, you come to that conclusion. But a child, there's no conclusion. It looks at something, it just goes and with the curiosity, it likes to pick it up. Sorry, go ahead, Kim.
Well, and it's like if we have a past experience, a negative past experience with somebody, we have that conclusion of how we think they are, kind of thing, right?
100%, 100%. You look at flowers, you would say, wow, so beautiful flowers, right? That beauty to that flower, how that got framed into your mind. You can see the child running around. For child, everything looks unique and everything looks something to play with or something to be, attracted towards. Because every creation for a child is universal, and there's always a beauty in every creation. And that comes from the meditative sense. But for adults, we have that conclusive mind, like, we shall conclude. That's the way the society have taught us, right? The life, if the life is so grand and flowing, the society have taught us to bring everything narrow down to one lane way and say, this is life. You should act like this. You should express yourself like this. You should experience like this. This is called success. This is called failure. So don't ever go there. This is called God. This is called this. This is called that. And then you're like this. But then you're not a mathematical equation, right? We used to say this in our satsang, in our Wednesday talks, that this entire cosmos, if you look at it from here, from this angle, it looks like chaos, the cosmos, entire cosmos and the creation. But if you go way above, and if you can able to look at it, you can see order. Everything is ordered very meticulously, very geometrically, everything in an order. And it needs so high intelligence to get that play flowing. Even if one little misalignment or a little off course track, it's done. So for entire cosmos to function in a certain way, especially Earth sitting there revolving on its own, and then you have the sun, you have a specific designated planet called Moon going with the Earth, right? If you really look into it, how magical and how much intelligence should be in this play. And your creation with this body and mind, with the soul integrated within, how magical and how grand you are. And now to confine that grandness, you yourself is expression of the cosmos, right? To confine it to this lane way of societal way, that is where the pressure comes in. That is where the stress comes in. That is where the depression comes in. So we lose that meditative senses. So what we do in the meditation path, you have to listen very carefully, right? When I say you do, it's a meditation path. If it is meditation, we don't do meditation. We don't practice meditation. You would have heard those words, practicing meditation, doing meditation. That is pretty much saying like doing your eyes or doing your vision. You don't do vision. You just open, you see, you open your eyelids, you're able to see. Right now you're listening. Your ears are naturally listening, right? You're not trying to do anything with your ears to listen, particularly this conversation. It's a natural phenomena in this body. So meditative senses are natural phenomena. So go ahead, Tanya.
So if meditation is a natural phenomenon, what's the difference between like a guided meditation and a meditation that you do on your own? Is a guided one just like practice so that you can get there on your own?
The guided meditation gives you the idea of the space or the journey of meditation. So the real meditation starts, I always say, after the session. Right after the session, that's why the meditation starts, because right now you're outside interacting with the societal world, the societal concept of world, which creates so much restlessness within the human minds, right? So what happens during meditation is we are creating the distance between the modified senses and what is that modified senses are bringing in, all our thoughts and emotions and conclusions. So we are creating the distance between the true self, or you can see yourself, and those commotions. So what happens when you create the distance, you're very aware that you're no longer those thoughts or emotions or the ideas that is trying to suffocate you every moment. And after creating the distance, what you need to do, you need to go and experiment it. You need to go and expose your body and mind to the societal interactions. That is where you would be, clearly understanding what is happening in the meditation and what is really happening in your awareness level. Because in our space of meditation, where everybody's going in the same journey, in the same direction, it is so beautiful. So that is what you feel in the guided meditation, our space, like, elevating yourself, like, easily releasing yourself from all these attachments and confinement, because we don't pressure yourself here. It's a free flow. There's no rules and a regulation that you have to do this, do that, right? There's a free flow. So you're naturally flowing in our space. But that flowing again gets arrested or suffocated the moment you step out. So that is why you really train yourself. And I say train yourself, training your senses to reverse it back to that pure form, where you're not judgmental anymore. You're not conclusive anymore. So when you're not judgmental, when you're not conclusive, what happens? Your senses are able to experience the outer world or inner world, whatever the world you're in, as it is. Because there's no judgment anymore. You can have a rose, you'll admire the beauty of the rose. There's something else in that creation, you'll admire the weed. Weed, people have labeled weed as something that we always have to cut it. And it is dangerous, right?
But the kids pick it and they're like, look at this beautiful flower I picked you, mommy.
They see it as a flower.
Yeah.
And you say the rose and this and that as a flower, they cannot differentiate the flower because they know that is a beautiful creation, which exactly it is a flower. If you say rose as a flower, if you say hibiscus as a flower, it's a flower. So that is what I'm trying to say with the meditation. So when meditation happens, what happens? You're so free from all these ideas and attachments, which means your senses are so free to flow. So anything it experiences, it'll be very intense. Because as a child, your organs, your body is still growing, right? But now it's like your body is complete. The organs are complete. So for the organs and body to be in a complete state, and for that to experience this world as it is, how much intense it would be. When I say intense in a very positive way, how rich it would be, how vibrant it would be. Because now you can understand. As a child, certain things you can't understand because still the body, the brain, everything is growing, right? But now as an adult, you're able to understand, but at the same time, you're very open, you're flowing, your life is flowing. Now with little things, what you say as little thing now, it becomes so bigger. Like a 2 minutes or 5 minutes walk on your barefoot, on a sand, on a grass, or just by sitting beside a tree, you'll be just flying. But now if I ask people to go and walk, they look at me like, oh, I'm so busy, I'm so occupied. Come on, Roshan. What is the whole point of walking 5 minutes? I run 1 hour in treadmill. That is a response from the societal minds, right? But I say to people, when you really you're not becoming anything, actually. If you really look into it, we're just reversing ourselves to our original state or the original nature. Mm-hmm. And from there, we're experiencing life. So we're not controlling anything. We're not sacrificing anything. So this is where the meditation really impacts one's life. Because now you go to work, you have a family, you have all these different roles to play, mother, wife, right? More like, so many sisters, siblings, the workplace relation, employee, boss, supervisor, whatever the labels people have, right? But all these different roles you play, now you're not attached to any of these roles because it is a very small idea, a framework of a societal structure. It is not the beginning, it is not the end. It is a very tiny idea. So we're not going to discard the idea, but with a thorough understanding and realization that it has limitations, these ideas and beliefs. So knowing that, you won't be putting your entire life force energy into it. You won't confine it. Rather, you'll be flowing it. And these things are little things. It becomes so little. Your role as a mother, your role as a wife, and everything becomes so tiny. When it becomes so tiny, it becomes so easy for you to play. When something is so huge, that's all you can able to see. You cannot go anywhere else because it is so huge and you're so attached like this. When everything gets the distance from you, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Now you can play numerous roles, and all those roles you can be effective because you won't be that much attached to it, and you have that carefreeness comes in. Because you want to experience so many other richer things that lies beyond all these roles, and also inside the roles, you'll also find the beauty. So that comes through the meditation path. So this is where it is important to know what is meditation, right? Not just chanting one mantra repeatedly or having your beats and scrolling it nonstop or focusing on a light or focusing on all those mini circles. None of those are meditation. Those are all like you're trying to bring your body and mind into a certain state so the meditation can happen. So meditation, I call it as a sixth sense, where your five sense, which is projected outwards, which got modified. And now this is a sixth sense, which is projected inwards, which got closed down as you grow up, as you grew and as you grab the societal information, that meditative senses got closed down. So now we're trying to do just opening it up. As you open up, what happens? The external five bodily senses becomes fresher and fresher and fresher and fresher. So now you have two realms you'll be existing. The inside space, your heart space you can call, or you can call the source space, or you can call the eternal space. So you dwell there in that realm, so free, no confinement, no pressures. No, you're not mom, you're not female, you're not ma'am, this and that, nothing. You're just a completely free, eternal being inside. So that gives so much freedom, so much peace. And now you're back again with your five bodily senses to go and experience this external world. It looks so silly, I'm telling you. It looks so silly because at that moment you'll see it's so predictable. Our human race, so predictable. Right now, you can't really look at, like, if people ask why he is behaving like this, why she is. I did so many things to him, but then all of a sudden he betrayed me or did this. You won't understand by asking those questions. It'll be always a mystery. Like, you will never understand human beings. But when you go inwards, once you understand your modified nature through your own bodily senses, then you come out and look at the people. They're just a reflection of your own self. Nothing more, nothing less. And this modified society is so easy to predict. And once you're able to easily predict what happens, you become a professional player in life, right? Because you just know the moves, right? They're very limited, very limited. The societal human beings are very limited in the way they express, the way they perceive, and the way they function.
And you don't take things so personally.
No, you won't. You won't, because you were in the same space. So we are not degrading anybody. With a thorough understanding, the compassion heart opens up. As you go inside, what happens? You're evolving more and more. And as you're evolving, the direct proportion of what happens, your compassionate heart opens more and more. And when you're more compassionate, you won't really take anybody so much personal. Rather than you'll have that empathy, you'll have that sympathy, you'll have that compassion towards one another, which will help you to forgive so many people, so many interactions. And what happens when you forgive? You're releasing all the anger, the frustrations and disappointments you're holding inside of you. And all these unwanted energies, when they get released, what happens? Your body is free. Your mind is free. When your body and mind is free, the curiosity of life flows in. The adventurous mind kicks in. The playfulness kicks in. The creativity kicks in. Now you're not confined to the society, even though you're living in the society. You'll easily navigate through. So that's really, you're not even striking the balance. You're just becoming so much in flow that you're navigating like a water. All the rocks, the big rocks are there. It is not getting stuck anywhere. It is just navigating like a stream, right? Just flowing through everywhere. So you're not controlling anything. You're not even balancing anything. The life just flows and things just happens. If anything comes as an obstacle, you'll just move around, nice and easy. If you don't have that meditative sense, what happens? You'll be like bashing that rock again and again and again and again. And there's so many other possibilities to go around, but you don't have that ability to see and move around because your senses are so confined and narrowed. So that is what the meditation brings in, a true meditation, because Kim was very specific. True meditation, right? Because we have to get that understanding. Questions, Becky? Perfect timing.
Yeah. So I know that there is no, hey, do this and this will happen. But are there things, I know Tanya mentioned guided meditation, having that experience. Like, are there things that we can do, things that we can say that will help to open or create that distance?
With who? To yourself or to people?
To yourself.
Yeah, so you can say, like, every time when you meditate, what we say during the guided meditation is that you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, you're not your mind, you're not your body, you're not anything that this physical realm is producing through this physical body. So you're becoming aware and aware and aware of that. And also, once you become once you're a little bit aware of the nature, the modified nature of your body and mind, you will see one thing is that your nature is always fluctuating. And that fluctuation, one moment will be sad, one moment it will be happy, one moment will be excitement. It just goes up and down like a stock market, right? So once you get aware of that, what happens? You realize nothing is permanent here. Your emotion is not permanent. So this you're realizing through your own experience. So now what happens, once you go deeper and deeper in meditation path, what happens when you're interacting with people or anything happening that just got your, attacked your ego, and now you're feeling so sad or down, somewhere inside you will tell, this will also go or disappear. This moment will also disappear. It is a very profound message. Because people don't believe that everything disappears. They're all so lashed upon. So go ahead, Kim.
I was just going to say, like, I notice within me, like, I don't get so obsessed with certain thoughts. Like, if something triggers me, like before I used to be so like obsessed and like I couldn't stop the cycle. Whereas now, like, I can relate to what you're saying. I'll be like, okay, cool. I'm on my thoughts. And it just like, it goes away so much faster.
You don't have to force yourself to solve it, because right now, if you pick any random human being who's not in the meditation path, right, you can literally see, like, there's no separation between themselves and thoughts and emotions and whatever happening, and their mind always attempt to solve every moment. Mm-hmm. And I keep saying to people, like, life is not a problem to be solved. It is a beautiful divine mystery that needs to be experienced with your open arms and open heart. That's what the life flow is. So when that happens, so many things will happen that will actually ease your life. That'll bring so much beautiful experiences. And I'm not saying there won't be any circumstances which will bring the sadness. It will come. Because we live in a, in a society where we have attachments, right? To our family, to our children, to our husbands, our wives, or whatnot. Something will disappear, your house, something will go, something like it, nothing is permanent. So that sadness will come at some point, but you're so equipped to know that who you are and how this societal modified nature works and how the cosmos works, the recovery will be so faster. The moving away from the stubbornness, moving away from all the suffocation, it's so faster. Because you are a human at this particular moment, right? So you have all these emotions. So obviously, if something is not happening in your way, you will have that little sadness, that disappointment, that frustration. But you'll move away. You just roll away from that. But that is not easy for majority of the humans. They have one incident, they think about it for 6 months. Some people, they die with that for the rest of their lives or life. And they're losing the entire life. We're latching on to something happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, happened. Even I say, even if something happened yesterday, I say the night you're going to bed, you die. When I say you die, whatever conclusions you have about yourself and people around, everything dies that night. And the next day you wake up, a baby, a new world, you knew yourself, everything is curious to play. You grab that 24 hours, or not even 24 hours, right? Because you go to bed at nighttime. So you grab all the information, experiences and whatnot in a very curious way, in a very open way. The night comes, everything dies down. And also you're creating possibility, like something that people would ask. So, oh, if this person did something to me, what happens if I'm going to be open, like, how the changes would happen in a relationship, right? And I say to people, probably the person never changed. Maybe he or she is exhibiting the same arrogance or same egoistic behavior. But who knows? If you are able to transform, then that person is also having the same resources with the divinity to transform too. So you have no idea what is happening within that person or how transformation have happened. But you being open about that person, now you're opening up possibilities. Right? It might turn into something completely beautiful venture now, or mutual apologies and mutual hugs, and then you can depart in a very beautiful way, like releasing all your energies attached to that person, that negative energies. Or he might just behave exactly the same way, right? But the possibilities are there. You're opening up possibilities. But when you're closed, there's no possibility. You're just completely you're judging, you're biased, and that's it. Any other question? It's like perfect time, 7:29.
What an ending.
That was good.
Yeah.
Starting with a clean slate every day, like a do-over. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday, doesn't matter who did what to you.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
a new day.
It's a new day. Like you take, like there are like all these sages living with us, the children. That's all we need to learn from them. But we try to teach our miseries and our atrocities and chaos to them, right? We need to learn that profoundness, that innocence from them. They cannot hold on to anger. They can't have that vengeance. They don't even forgive. Like, they don't have that concept of forgiving. They just move on. That is the beauty of that divinity within them. Like every moment they're happy. Even when they cry completely full. They release all that energy, that unwanted holding energy. They're completely new. They're fresh. So this is what I said when we're going in a narrow laneway, right? The society teaches you can't cry, you should not cry, crying is weakness. All sorts of ideas have suffocated you. So this is like a free path. Meditation is you're releasing yourself from all the old ways and opening up numerous possibilities. And you're enjoying and having fun with your life, incorporating everything into one. Good?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, my pleasure. Wrap up. Okay, thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Kim, and thank you everybody for watching. Love and peace to everybody.
Thank you.